Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. Well, we're finally here, folks. We're at the end of the Doctor Venom story arc. So, let's take a look at issue 19.
Joe triumphs.
Dude, spoilers!
The cover certainly looks promising. An intense battle between Cobra and the Joes. Looks like the final showdown will be awesome. The opening splash page has the Joes building a fort. To my disappointment, it's not made of pillows or boxes, but hard metal. While that's going on, they're also wheeling in what's left of the Baroness. It turns out that, in between issues, Scarface has explained to the Joes that he's been infected by a deadly virus, and when he becomes contagious, everybody is screwed. Hawk figures out that Cobra's plan isn't just infecting the Joes, but also to see what army post will be heavily quarantined once the virus is released, so they can come in and destroy it with conventional forces. So Hawk has a plan of his own. He's gonna make it look like their headquarters is just a motor pool building, not the bunker below. That's why they're building the fortress, to put it inside the motor pool as their fake headquarters. Sure enough, sometime later, Cobra spots the quarantine procedure going on at the motor pool and they mobilize.
But say, haven't we forgotten somebody?
Come on without, come on within. You'll not see nothing like the mighty Quinn.
Let's check in on Quinn the Eskimo and Snake Eyes. They find Dr. Venom's hidden lab and drop in on him.
Okay, that time the bad pun was all mine. I'm so sorry.
Quinn's been waiting for this, and vengeance finally seems to be at hand. Only for them to get interrupted yet again. This time by Cobra arriving on the scene.
Oh, god damn it! You know, the amount of righteous beatings that the Doctor narrowly avoids is infuriating!
Since they're completely surrounded, outmanned, and outgunned, it's time for drastic action.
Drastic, incredibly stupid action!
They find a special suit, that's a new toy by the way, the Snake Armor, and Snake Eyes proceeds to put it on after recommendations from Venom. Yes, they have Venom encouraging them to use the armor.
Venom! The guy that's always lying and has tried to kill them more times than Hasbro has killed Optimus Prime!
So, of course, things reach their logical conclusion, and Snake Eyes finds himself being mind-controlled by the armor, and takes out Quinn. So now, Cobra has two prisoners to put in the damn armor, as they prepare for the assault on the Joes. Yeah, it's their own fault in this case. Dumbasses. While all this is going on, the Joes are preparing their defenses and have moved both the Baroness and Major Blood to the motor pool. A little later, we've got ourselves a battle. Cobra helicopters start off the proceedings by blowing up the motor pool building, only to reveal the fortress. And, in a nice surprise, it's actually a pretty much to-scale version of the G.I. Joe headquarters toy. Nicely done. And so the battle is joined. The fortress uses anti-aircraft guns that take out the helicopters. The ambulances surrounding the place, used for the quarantine ruse, were rigged with claymores? And blow up, taking out the Cobra infantry?
Yeah, that's all kinda screwed up. I'll get more into that after the recap.
Meanwhile though, it's time to introduce some new toys. The Joes send out the Pack Rats, robotic weapon platforms programmed to attack Cobra. You know, I'm pretty sure this is exactly how Skynet got started. Anyway, the little robot fellows begin to make short work of the Hiss tanks, prompting Venom to send in the Snake Armors with the mind-controlled Quinn and Snake Eyes inside. Venom, being the dick that he is, starts taunting Snake Eyes by telling them that he might be able to overcome the mind control, but at the cost of unspeakable pain. Since causing Snake Eyes pain seems to be somewhat of a raison d'etre for Larry Hama, this is of course exactly what happens. But even though Snake Eyes is free of mind control now, it doesn't really help him. Venom continues taunting him and points out that the armor is hard-coded to not attack anything painted in Cobra Blue, so he misses when he fires on Venom's Hiss tank. Yeah, let's all just ignore for a minute that Hiss tanks are supposed to be black. He then orders Quinn to take out Snake Eyes' armor. The ninja isn't stupid though and shoots loose Quinn's restraints, allowing him to get out and dole out some payback. He takes out the Hiss driver and finally has Venom all to himself. Quinn feels the best way to work out their differences is for him to shove a grenade down Venom's throat. And I mean that literally. He plans to make him swallow a grenade with the pin removed. Now that's dedication! While Quinn is giving Venom some new diet tips, a Cobra sapper, or demolitions expert, has landed his Fangcopter on the fortress and plans to blow it up. Doc, who was left behind to guard the 3 prisoners, because of course you put the freaking medic in charge of that, hears him and is distracted enough so that Blood can knock him out. Before he can get away, he's confronted by General Flag, only for Scarface to kick the gun out of his hand, leading Blood to shoot the General in the chest. Blood makes his escape with the Baroness, leaving Scarface behind, since the helicopter can barely carry 2.
Oh, come on, dude. A Fang can carry at least 3 people.
See? 3. Easily. Anyway, Blood makes it to the roof, shoots the sapper after he set the bomb, and escapes with the Baroness strapped to the Fang. By the way, they show him shooting the guy, and then in the next panel, he's already in the helicopter. I'm glad they cut out the awkward and hilarious part where he has to drag the Baroness up on the roof. So, that leaves a severely wounded Flag, an unconscious Doc, and a thoroughly screwed Scarface in the fortress, with the clock, or should I say bomb, ticking down. The comic switches back to Quinn, who realizes that if he kills Venom, he'd be no better than him, so he leaves him alive. Venom, having the gratitude we've come to suspect of him, promptly shoots him in the back. Even after all that, Quinn tells him that he has no anger left and is at peace. He even promises that he won't harm the Doctor as long as he's alive. Fulfilling this promise, Quinn falls over dead, releasing the life grenade he still had, which falls at Venom's feet. Fallen from a dead man's hand. And those are Venom's last words as he's blown up.
Wow. I didn't expect it to end like that.
And the drama isn't even over yet, as Doc manages to regain consciousness and drags General Flag outside, though he's forced to leave Scarface behind, trapped, since Blood had taken the keys to his cuffs with him. Moments after Doc escapes, the fortress blows up, killing Scarface. Additionally, Doc couldn't save General Flag, who succumbs to his wounds moments later. And the comic ends with Cobra retreating, believing they have destroyed G.I. Joe headquarters, and Hawk realizing that they won, but not without paying a terrible price. So, that was Joe Triumphs.
Where do I even begin? Well, I suppose we should start with the bad. The Joes are war criminals, in more ways than one.
Firstly, they put Blood, Scarface, and the frickin' Baroness in the fortress that they know will be attacked. Hawk even especially had the Baroness transported over from the hospital against Doctor's orders. He put prisoners, one of whom is severely wounded by the way, directly into harm's way. And I can only hope that the Baroness was in a medically induced coma during all of this, because moving a conscious burn victim would be tantamount to frickin' torture.
And the best part? Do you want to know why they moved these people to the fortress? Well, here's all the explanation we get from Hawk.
It wouldn't do to have our top Cobra prisoners miss out on the big show, right, sir? And that's it. That's Hawk's big reason. Yeah. I do like how even General Flag seems to think he's gone completely nuts here.
Oh, believe me, we're upping the douche count. but it somehow seems inadequate considering just the magnitude of the douchebaggery involved here.
But guess what? We're not done. You see, secondly, the Joes, presumably under orders from Hawk, set up claymore mines under a row of ambulances to take out the Cobra infantry. These ambulances have a red cross on them. That means you don't freaking screw with them, and you definitely don't use them as freaking weapons. Yeah, they even say in the comic that it's against the Geneva Convention, and then they say, well, a lot of things are against the Geneva Convention.
Henry Dunant is rolling over in his grave.
Since we can assume this was Hawk's plan, we're upping the douche count twice in one episode.
But if you leave the war crimes aside, and that's something I never thought I'd say, then this was actually one hell of a comic.
They managed to drive home pretty well that war is hell by killing off a bunch of significant characters. Scarface, General Flagg, Venom, and Quinn, they all lose their lives. And these are well-developed personalities that have been with the reader for months, and in some cases, even for over a year. Sure, some people died in previous issues, but they were mostly nameless, faceless goons. This was quite shocking at the time. Of course, you can't help but notice that none of the people who died were actually created by Hasbro. They were all invented by Larry Hama at Marvel. And that's really the only reason they were allowed to die, because there weren't any toys of them. Still, as characters in the comic, they were just as important as the official guys. The title, Joe Triumphs, is well chosen. The Joes win by losing in more ways than one. They duped Cobra into believing that they'd won the battle and destroyed G.I. Joe headquarters, but they also lost their commanding officer and an important ally.
It's a clever, makes-you-think title, especially for a comic made to sell toys.
They're still clearly trying to sell toys though, as the pack rats and the snake armor were new toys that were thrown in there, but I have to say they were used very effectively. Apart from the war crimes, the only thing that really bothers me is the incredibly flimsy excuse they use to have Scarface, Blood, and the Baroness present. It really makes no sense in the story. The real reason they're there is, of course, so the writer has an easy way of letting Blood and the Baroness escape to have further adventures. Overall, this issue is a must-read, as it's the finale to the Doctor Venom story arc, and a shocking one at that. I highly recommend it.
See you next week, everybody.
Come on without